then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds. And when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. As we thank you for joining us here for the Texas 240 with the Icon Cup Series here on Sim Racing Media. I'm Shane Cochran. Along with me in the booth tonight, Alan Bergen. Alan, how's your weekend going so far?
Hey, look, all I gotta say is we're in Texas. I've got my favorite beverage in hand, which is milk. Which I know, like, milk celebration did not happen until later on this month. But it's a great day here. And guess what else, Shane?
What's that?
Happy Star Wars Day. Happy May the 4th.
You're right. May the Force be with you.
Yeah, and may the Force be with these drivers here tonight.
Yeah, this should be an exciting one here at Texas. Last week we were at Talladega. A wild and chaotic race, delivered a first-time winner. Our pole sitter, Braxton DeWeese, ran out of fuel with an ill-timed caution early in the race, kind of took him out of contention. Adam Ball, Travis Gilbert, Brian Smith, Michael Taylor, and Nathan Finnegan all led double-digit number of laps, but couldn't make their way through the wrecks and be lucky enough to finish it at the end in first place. Ryan Patty and Cody Neal each won a stage, but they couldn't avoid the pitfalls of the Dega traffic either. As that final pit cycle was playing out, some drivers were saving fuel. Others needed another stop. A caution came out on lap 99. Every driver on the lead lap came down pit road to top off except one, John McNeil. His strategy gave him the lead with 20 laps to go, and he led 11 laps, including the final 8, beating Johnny Hamby and Nathan Brzezowski back to the finish line after Kyle Diaz and Brian Smith made contact and wrecked out of the lead on the final turn. So we'll see if we've got the same kind of action here. If the Cup Series this afternoon was any indication, we are going to have a lot of high-speed spins and wrecks as drivers fight for clean air up front. Take a look at the race, how it's going to break down. It's a 240 miles, 160 laps. We've got stages at lap 50 and lap 100. My crew chief calculator is telling me the fuel window is somewhere between 35 and 40 laps, which means these drivers will have to make a stop in each of those early stages as well as the last one to make it to the end. 71 degrees and cloudy with a pretty good wind gust, 12 miles an hour. So drivers are going to be looking for that draft down the backstretch, especially as we wrap up warm up and qualifying here. Take a look at our starting grid. Here as warm up is wrapping up. Looks like Nathan Finnegan going to start on pole tonight with Brian Smith outside on that front row. Patrick Colby and Charles Van Schaik are in row 2. Braxton DeWeese and Johnny Hamby in row 3. Cody Neal and Anthony Teseo in row 4 with Adam Ball and Travis Gilbert. Closing out your top 10. Kyle Purcell and Michael Taylor, 11th and 12th. As John McNeil, last week's winner, in 13th. Ryan Patty in 14th. Nathan Brzezowski in 15th. Jeff Dillon in 16th. Robert Roth, Jake Champion, Brad Delph, and Jacob Smith round out your top 20. Jacob Gladulich in 21st. Michael Jennings 22nd. Kyle Diaz 23rd. And Charles Woods rolling off 24th. Ethan Van Colley in 25th. Steve Tuck in 26th. Brock Hersey and Sean Purcell. Bentley Glazer and Cody Eldred round out your top 30. Chris Camburn in 31st. Jonathan Duncan in 32nd. Kyle Gilbert 33rd. Charlie Widener 34th. Robert Bloon in 35th. And Hanover Fist in 36th. As I mentioned, we've got 160 laps here at Texas as the drivers are lined up behind the pace truck, 2 by 2, ready to get racing here at Texas.
Yeah, look, it's going to be a fun race here. If I'm not mistaken, we're probably going to be driving into the evening time. Excuse me. But nonetheless, these guys get ready to go green. Shane, I feel the force is strong with Nathan Finnegan, but who's going to go to the dark side and who's going to steal that one away from one of these top drivers here tonight?
Yeah, I'm not sure if it could be another first-time winner like last week or kind of the usual crowd. Brian Smith and Nathan Finnegan, each with 3 wins on the season. They're going to be looking to get that 4th to really set themselves apart in the points. See if they can get it done. Pace truck is in, and we are waving the green flag through the Geico start zone, and we are racing here at Texas.
Yeah, we're going to stay made it clean through turn number 1 here, Shane, and we're already going to go 3 and 4 wide coming down that back straightaway.
Yeah, looks like they're single file back to about 4th, 5th, and 6th. A couple drivers tagging the wall there. Up front, Nathan Finnegan pulling away as Patrick Colby moves into 2nd place. Further back, the 01 of Kyle Purcell is on the move. Up 5 positions already in this race.
Yeah, John Hamby there in that, and John Deere green on a hot. Well, I would say summer night, but it's not summer yet. But look at Patrick Colby there, setting fastest lap of the race with a 29.48. I mean, he's matching every step with Nathan Finnegan, maybe running a half a lane lower than Finnegan in some of these corners.
Yeah, here at Texas, you're going to want clean air. Being out front makes it easy to be fast and save tires. As he dives down under Finnegan. He's going to take it away.
Yeah, Nathan Finnegan saying, go ahead, go. And that's the thing is, it's one of those, mile and a half. You're on the bottom, you're just going to eat the right front tire. These cars are going to drive off the right front all night. And so just put yourself in a good rhythm. We got 160 laps here, 240 miles. Put yourself in a good race pace and try to save and conserve some tires for the end of the night.
Don't tell that to Kyle Purcell. Now up 7 positions on the back bumper of Brian Smith, making those tires work for him on the high line.
Yeah, well, it's only a matter of time for the Dr. Feelgoods to become Dr. Feelbads.
He's gonna
watch.
I
was gonna say, watching this battle here, and that 01 car of Kyle Purcell just riding that high line. It's almost like he's gonna go and let's just go ahead and pass Brian Smith there in that 78 car.
Yeah, jot that down in your notebook. Purcell pushing hard early. In about 20 laps, we're going to want to check in and see how his tires are doing. Further back in the field, Adam Ball turned the fastest lap a couple laps ago before Patrick Colby stole the title back once again from the lead. So we move on back through the field. That 17 John Deere car. Losing a couple positions now since the start. But hanging tight.
That's okay because we got 160 laps and we been through 8, so we're trying to get to lap 50 and don't want to do nothing too egregious here in the start of this race. We're seeing a lot of the side by side and hearing these guys trying to race hard and early because the tire fall off is real.
Some good hard racing here early on, but everyone playing nice. Haven't seen any heavy contact. Haven't seen anyone trying to make it 3 wide. At least not yet. Another driver up a ton of spots is Sean Purcell in the 74. He's up 9 positions since this race started, running 19th. Might not have had the qualifying effort he was looking for based on the lap times he's running. He's making his way up through the field.
Well, I tell you what, Shane, the real world race today, that track was slick as ice.
Sure was. They were really battling that bump in turn 4 on the high line. Sent a couple cars around. Kyle Busch probably getting the worst of it. It's Travis Gilbert now up to P4.
So here's the thing about Texas in the real world is I believe the track is just now coming into its prime. They've always had those weeper issues, and they've always had to cut up sections of the track and fix them, right? But now I think that track's coming into the hustle or into its prime, and the service is just getting right, and it's going to produce a lot of good racing going forward.
Yeah, it seems like a year ago or even earlier this week, people were talking about, is Texas going to get repaved, reconfigured? In my
Oh, I
opinion,
hope
it put
not.
on a pretty great race this afternoon and Friday with the trucks and Saturday with Xfinity too.
I love those tracks where you see those guys just having to hustle them cars around. You know, that's my style of racing.
Ryan Patty running P9. He's up 5 positions since the start of the race. Looks like he's rocking a fresh Exalta paint scheme. Looking sharp tonight.
I'm surprised he doesn't rock a Sam Adams paint scheme.
Hey, there's always next week.
Our cousin Ryan from Boston.
John
Checking
McNeil.
into the YouTube. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, McNeil looking under Teseo as they're racing side by side for 15th.
Checking in here in the YouTube.com live chat. It looks like Braxton Deweese saying, "Good evening," or Chris Deweese checking, rooting on Braxton and saying, "Good evening, race fans." Good evening, Chris.
Look back through the field. A couple cars off the pace. Gladulich kind of driving all by himself back there. And the 99 car, Robert Bloom, also a little off pace. The leader's about a half lap behind these guys, so hopefully they can keep up to speed and not go a lap down before this end of the first stage. Up front, Patrick Colby continues to lead, now with almost a second lead over Nathan Finnegan. We run down through our top 10. Travis Gilbert in P3. Kyle Purcell still up 7 positions from the start, running P4. Braxton Deweese in 5th. Brian Smith in the 78, now in 6th position. And Charles Van Schaik in 7th. Ryan Patty 8th. Johnny Hamby in 9th. And Adam Ball rounds out your top 10 for now.
Yeah, third into this first stage, third of the way into this first stage here, and everybody's starting to settle in, settle down as we're working lap number 19, 18 laps in the history books. Tires are starting to fall off just a little bit. These guys are definitely going to start having to hustle these cars around this racetrack. As we got looks like some cloud cover overhead, which is going to introduce some grip into this racetrack. And these motors definitely do love cloud cover.
Absolutely, and as the sun goes down, I'm expecting this track to tighten up, make it a little easier to keep from losing the handle, but then I think cars are going to be getting into that outside wall and exit, especially later in the run. You see Sean Purcell still battling with Anthony Teseo. Michael Jennings right behind him. Some more side-by-side action back here. There's Jake Champion going around the outside.
Ooh, they're thinking about making 3 wide. It's Michael Jennings and Sean Purcell.
As we see this going on, why don't we jump on board with Robert Roth and watch this battle from there. See him getting a little loose on exit as they're 3 wide. everybody going to get sorted out? These guys are battling back around 20th. The battle for 4th is heating up as well. And Brian Smith trying to hold off Van Schaik and Purcell.
Oh, that's about as thin of a hole as you can get. A little too close for comfort for me.
As you mentioned, we're now 24 laps into this run. The tires are not what they were at the beginning. We mentioned earlier in the race that Kyle Purcell seemed to be a driver who was using those tires to his advantage early on. At one point, he was up 8 positions. Now as he loses one to Ryan Patty, he's back to P8. Those tires do seem to be worn out compared to his competition.
Yeah, definitely 25 laps here. We are halfway through this run. That sun's starting to peek back out from behind the overcast skies there. And now we're going to start to see that track loosen up. The only good thing, though, Shane, is we haven't had to run a caution, which creates what we call a heat cycle, which can get those tires to seal over. But, you know, now these guys are going to start searching high and low for grip.
Oh,
as we got a car. Oh, did he save it? I think he did. No yellow yet. And there it is.
Oh, I thought he was going to be able to get to pit lane without an issue. Let's take a quick look and see what happened there. It looked like they were 4 wide coming out of turn 4, and that's too wide. I don't know what the number is, but 4 is too many. Purcell gets loose, and the 72 gets in on his bumper, and they were 4 wide for a moment trying to avoid that. Didn't see really anybody else picking up any damage. Lucky for that group of drivers. Kind of halfway through the stage. I'm expecting everyone's going to want to pit here. It's kind of too perfect to not take the opportunity to split the stage, get some fresh tires, and see what you can do to get stage points.
Yeah, stage points are all too important here, especially at a track like Texas. And, you know, last week's winner is already locked into the points or into the playoffs. So, you know, and he started 13th. He's still riding around there, right around the 16th there. John McNeil in that 48 car. But right now, Nathan Finnegan is going to come down and get tires. We're going to take wholesale pit stops here.
The drivers are racing off of pit road.
Oh, we had some drivers making some contact there.
Yeah, that's one of those things, you know, when you pull through your pit stalls, it's kind of like your car becomes a ghost and you can't really touch the guy in front of you. But at some point as you merge back onto pit lane, that's not the case anymore. Sometimes that can catch you off guard.
Well, now we got a whole new race, as we got a new top 4 with Nathan Finnegan, Travis Gilbert, Brian Smith, and Kyle Purcell. And we'll even go as far as Braxton DeWeese rounding out your top 5, and we're going here again with about 22, 23 laps left there in the stage.
Yeah, I think Gilbert was the big winner there on that pit cycle. Looking at the pit times, looks like everyone all the way back to 16th just took 2 tires there, as they probably only needed about half a fuel tank. That was probably all you needed to be on pit road for. Kyle Diaz up 13 positions since the start of the race to crack into the top 10. As always, looking sharp in that Vet to Track 26 car. The pace truck brings them through turns 3 and 4. We're getting ready to restart. With 90 laps to go in the race, 20 laps to go in stage 1. They are coming back down the front stretch. Barney's got his arm in the air. Green flag is up. And they are back racing at Texas in the Icon Cup Series.
At least someone's math is mathing up here in the booth, because mine sure isn't. I'm sitting there trying to carry the 1, but right now, Travis Gilbert trying to carry that 22 car to the outside line and get around Brian Smith and Nathan Finnegan. We are under caution for the second time.
Looks like Patrick Colby, one of the cars involved. Let me take a look back and see what happened here on lap 30. Colby in the 28. Defending against the 27, and just they get together. I'm not sure if Colby had to check up or if the 27 just had a really good run. Let's take a look at from Kyle Gilbert's view, if we can. Oh, he's already in the wall. Let's see. Okay, he was caught up in that. Yeah, let's ride along with him. Just everybody checking up, nowhere to go. Pretty good contact there, as it looks like he's lost most of his front suspension and ability to turn.
That might be all she wrote.
Let's see if we watch from behind here. The 27 just getting such a good run on turn exit. I don't know if Colby knew he was there.
Oh. Almost like he got help. Oh, okay. Oh, and
yeah, the next gen car is nearly impossible to save once you get that sideways, and even if he had a chance to, that traffic coming behind him couldn't get away.
And that's the one that KO'd Patrick or Kyle Gilbert. No fast repairs in this league, Shane. Whatever damage you get is the damage you have to fix. So it's a pretty good likely chance that Patrick Colby and Kyle Gilbert could definitely win. The first time ever in the history of the race to the beer stand have a co-winner. But we'll have to check up on that developing story.
Yeah, I don't see anybody all the way out of the race just yet. I did see that looks like Sean Purcell in the 74 and Jake Champion in the 27 each picked up a black flag somewhere around that last restart. I think.
I tell you what, though, I would say this, Shane. Texas has the coolest caution lights on the front straightaway.
Those are great looking. No way you're going to miss it when it comes out.
No. I don't like to see them all the time, but they are neat when they do come out.
But yeah, I think the 74 picked up his black flag when he pulled onto pit road after this spin. He was beyond the commitment cone. Champion, though, I'm not sure. It happened under caution. Might have been a speeding on pit road or something like that. And this is starting to feel like the Cup race this afternoon. A lot of green flag racing, and then once there's one caution, they can't seem to avoid them one after another.
You know what they say. Cautions breed cautions.
Mm-hmm. Nathan Finnegan, Brian Smith up front, just like they started the race, with Travis Gilbert and Kyle Purcell in row 2. Pace truck is off one more time. And Finnegan with a great start takes them back to green here at Texas.
Nathan Finnegan definitely got the old shot there. But here comes Travis Gilbert thinking about making a move. Doesn't quite have the grip or the warmth in those tires to get around Brian Smith, as we got a couple drivers kind of catch the wall. You know, here's the thing, Shane. As a driver, I'm a driver. You're a driver. That's a sinking feeling, knowing that when you got the steering wheel jammed to the left coming off the corner, and your car just keeps going higher and higher and higher. At what point do you know that, okay, let's try to downshift, let's cut, stab the brakes maybe, and see if we can get that car off the wall, but you're gonna go out there and grab it.
Yeah, I'd say in a truck or an Xfinity car, you have that opportunity to lift out of the throttle and try to stay off the wall, but the next gen car really rotates best when you're on throttle, so when you get out of it, it actually makes you even tighter, unless you do something like an aggressive downshift like you mentioned and try to force it. But at Texas, you're so loose on exit that doing something like that can just make it worse. Sometimes it's better just to take your hit to the wall and get a little bit of damage versus spinning and maybe taking out half the field. But in my experience, usually at a track like Texas, you kind of you commit to the line you're going to take through the turn, and especially on exit by the middle of the turn. And what you don't always account for is that guy in front of you kind of sweeping up and taking away your clean air, and by then it's too late. Your downforce is gone and you're in the wall. As Ryan Patty looks low, 3 wide, getting that 2-for-1 special, as you love to say, Alan.
I love it. I love it. I love it. And here we go. We are absolutely going to be loving and touching and squeezing here in Texas. Here on lap number 38. And Shane, I say it all the time, but right now there's more action than a Waffle House at 3 a.m. And I know it depends on which Waffle House you're at, but around here, there's a whole lot of action going on.
Yeah, I think whatever Waffle House Ryan Patty's going to is the one that has the lead right now. He not only passes those guys, but really pulls away. With just 10 laps to go in this stage, I'm not sure you need to save those tires anymore. And Patty on 4 tires compared to Finnegan and Smith on 2, as Jonathan Duncan now trying to join the party. He's also on 4 tires, and we're seeing how much speed that gives you. Able to hug the bottom and get passes done.
Another 3 wide situation. Here we go. And they do it with so much precision. Usually, when you're in a race situation, you kind of get a little tense up there. These guys are so professional at doing this that they do it like it's nothing.
You're right, Alan. As Duncan able to escape from this group. The 2 drivers who took 4 tires on lap 27 really finding some speed here at the end of stage 1. Again, write that down in your crew chief notebook. 2 tires is good for track position, but a couple restarts kind of nullifies that advantage and the 4 tires take over. As this group continuing to battle Jeff Dillon in the 52 now making his presence known.
Yeah, insert the rest of the field here. Here we go. And so far, it's coming to the end of the stage. Ryan Patty's got the field smothered, covered, and chopped.
Dillon
If you don't know what I mean.
wide. Gonna get it done. I mean, Finnegan and Smith have been side by side since the restart. Not able to pass each other, but all of these cars able to pass them both.
You know what's strange is we've been watching this league for about a month now, and every week it seems like that Nathan Finnegan and Brian Smith just gets a little bit loose. These two just can't seem to get away from each other on the racetrack.
No, they cannot.
It almost seems as if you see the 6 car, Brian Smith is going to be somewhere very close to him.
Yeah, like I mentioned, those two guys, each with 3 wins, each with 5 stage wins, each with 7 top 5s. They are the class of the field most nights. Right now, Ryan Patty is your leader, a half second ahead of Jonathan Duncan.
Jonathan Duncan there in that number 13 car, bring about a half second back from Ryan Petty and Jeff Dillon.
Yeah, Duncan was 0.2 faster that last lap. If he keeps up that pace, he'll catch Patty before the end of the stage.
Shane, I will tell you this though, there is a little bit of hockey game going on here in the Lou. If you know, you know.
I am locked in on this battle right here. Duncan almost 0.2 faster that lap again.
I will tell you this though, while we're on board with Jonathan Duncan, it is the end of the second period, and I'm going to be texting Dave Regal after this race.
I'm sure he's waiting by the phone for your message, Alan.
But right now, I tell you what though, Jonathan Duncan trying to send a message to Ryan Petty is saying, don't count me out. And, you know, it's not surprising to me that Jonathan Duncan is essentially shifting.
Yeah,
But it's weird, he only did it 1-2.
Yeah, Patty faster that last lap, bringing that gap back to about 35 hundredths as Duncan taps the wall.
We got about 3 laps left in the stage here, Shane. You know, we're going to see wholesale pit stops once again. As you mentioned earlier, these guys only put about a half a tank of gas just to get themselves to the end of the stage and 2 tires. So then they're going to have that extra set of rights or extra set of left sides for the end of that race.
As those guys get a little spaced out up front, we still got side-by-side action back here around 24th. Almost 3 wide there for a second. So here on the last lap of the stage, lap 50, Duncan within 0.3 of Ryan Patty. Patty just able to hug that white line and maintain the speed. Maybe a little loose there, but he's going to come back for the stage win. As those beautiful caution lights are out again, Ryan Patty takes stage 1 here in the Texas 240. And as all these drivers decide whether or not to pit and how many tires to get, we're going to step away for a quick commercial break, and we will be right back with Icon Cup Series. Welcome back to the Texas 240 with the Icon Cup Series here on Sim Racing Media. She got Shane and Alan in the booth. As we saw, drivers come down pit lane at the end of stage one. Ryan Patty was your leader, but Jeff Dillon and Anthony Teseo taking 2 tires, gained some position. And it looks like it's got him on the front row. We're coming back to green.
Yeah, we're Noah's Ark Style 2x2 behind this Iracing.com base car. The Iracing.com Chevy Silverado makes a hard left turn off onto the pit road. It's going to be Jeff Dillon and Anthony Teseo on the front row to the Geico restart zone. And we are back to Texas two-stepping here in Texas.
Jeff Dillon already having to defend against Ryan Patty and Brian Smith. You mentioned those NHL playoffs. Dillon rocking a Washington Capitals scheme. They're in the lead. Now Smith and Patty are battling for P2. Patty going to get it for now. Kyle Diaz now breaking into the top 5. He's up 18 positions since this thing started. Seeing Jeff Dillon able to hold the lead on those 2 tires, but his partner in crime there, the 13 of Jonathan Duncan, also took 2 tires, and he is dropping back. Not sure if that strategy is working out for him now that he's back in that dirty air in traffic. He's going to make it 3 wide under Teseo. Ooh, close quarters, but they're going to be all right.
And here we go, 3 wide once again.
Woo, doggy. Back to 2 wide. That makes me nervous. Being stuck in the middle is not where you want to be, especially with older tires.
You know, speaking of the Capitals, the Washington Capitals, and you know that's the team that Jeff Dillon is proudly displaying on the hood of that 52 car. They play the Capitals, or they play the Hurricanes on Tuesday.
Duncan in trouble as he tags the wall and loses a few more positions. Look out. 88 of Chris Camber. I think he heard me screaming.
You know, it's almost like a gift from when you're in a car and you can hear the broadcaster just screaming at you.
Yeah. Meanwhile, the battle for 5th place here with Travis Gilbert, Nathan Finnegan, Brad Delph, Kyle Diaz, Michael Taylor, and Kyle Purcell is heating up. Cody Neal just ahead of them with a little bit of breathing room. Ooh,
Oh, a little bit of contact.
And Finnegan coming together. They're 3 wide as Delph has to check up.
These guys make it look easy, but I'm telling you what, this track is so hard to race on.
Everybody trying to find a place to settle in and get some clean air, and there's just nowhere to go. Up front, Dillon now with a 6/10 lead ahead of Ryan Patty. Travis Gilbert back in 3rd, trying to fend off Brian Smith in the 78. Another car tagging the wall. See that smoke flying.
Well, I tell you what, Shane, the first time in history of the race to the beer stand, we have co-winners. It was too close to call. Patrick Colby and Kyle Gilbert did the race. They win the race to the beer stand.
Well, there's always a bright side to everything. And sometimes an ice cold beer side. Here's Kyle Diaz. Almost looks like he's stuck on the outside. Tags the wall. It's Kyle Purcell and Brad Delph are going underneath of him. Just behind them is Charlie Widener. Running P11. He's currently up 23 positions from where he started. Making the most of the early part of this race.
They don't call him Mr. Consistency for nothing.
He's thinking about making it 3 wide. Oh.
He's going to tag the back at Kyle Diaz.
Yeah, getting a little impatient here. Trying to crack into the top 10. Now he's going to try the outside of Diaz. Pretty good run there. When you're on the outside, you kind of have to pinch the guy down on the bottom and take away his exit. And just hope he doesn't get loose or tight and drive you both up into the wall. He's going to clear the 26. Most of our leaders now with at least a half-second gap between them until you get back to 4th place as Cody Neal is trying to track down Brian Smith. Nathan Finnegan back to 7th. Gotta wonder if maybe he's saving a little tire here on this second stage run. Jeff Dillon continues to lead up front as we hit lap 70.
Yeah, we got about 30 laps to go here and 31 here to go left in stage number 1, or 2 rather. Wow. Woo. You guys are still battling it out pretty hard. 70 laps in to this 160 lap race, and well, these guys are battling it like it's still lap 10. So we're starting to see those tires fall off once again.
Diaz and Widener still going at it.
And this is where I need you to put on your pit crew hat, Shane. And you know, here we are. We pitted on lap number 51. We'll call it 51. Here we are, almost what, 20 laps into the run.
Yeah, we're 20 laps in. I don't know. I think with this many cars still on the lead lap, you don't want to lose too much track position. if you can afford it. Personally, I think I'm staying out as long as I can and kind of just in case there's a caution. We've seen how valuable tires are, and if you want to get stage points here in stage 2, you're not going to want to get caught a lap down, needing to wave around and getting stuck on old tires behind those guys up front. But Ryan Patty is tracking down Jeff Dillon. Scratch that. He's tracked him down and looks to the inside. He's going to take it away. Dillon maybe using up too much of that two-tire strategy. Starting to come back to bite him. Patty now pulling away with 25 to go here in stage 2.
Yeah, this is only going to get more intense as we go through the stages. Stage 3 is going to be the longest stage of the race here.
Kyle Diaz in the 26 now working on the 08 of Michael Taylor. And back behind them, Delph and Brzezowski are side by side, just ahead of Adam Ball. It's a battle for 11th. As it looks like Kyle Purcell heading to pit road. He's going to be the first one to do it. But now that someone has made the move, that's where your leaders might have to think, hey, how much am I willing to give up here? We'll take a look at tire fall off. Really not that bad. Our leader's best lap of the race is a 29.4. His last lap, the 30.1. Now a 30.2. So about 0.8 of a second difference between fresh tires. Running a 30-second lap. That's going to take a lot longer than the rest of the stage to pay off. So Brad Delph pulled down to the inside, indicating he's coming to pit road. Gonna make it there safely. Also see McNeil and Van Schaik have hit pit road. Robert Bloom now down on pit road. It looks like a lot of these guys are taking 4 tires. I think what we saw on that last run was green flag pit stops especially. 2 tires are worth it so that you can save the time on fuel. Especially as we see these guys pitting or losing their lap to the leader, Ryan Patty, who's still ahead of Jeff Dillon and Travis Gilbert. Gilbert, though, starting to catch these two. You see a puff of smoke on the front stretch.
Definitely some smoke, but no fire just yet.
Brzezowski now on pit road. Back in P6, Finnegan starting to catch up with Cody Neal. I believe that yellow car on the inside is a lap down. Trying to find his way around these leaders too.
That might be a little easier said than done here.
Yes. Cody Neal comes down to pit road. Van Schaik is that lapped car. He's on fresh tires, and you can see it does make it a little easier for him to hug the bottom and get around. Meanwhile, Travis Gilbert is under and around Jeff Dillon.
Connection issues and all.
Not slowing him down, that's for sure. Gilbert now setting his sights on Ryan Patty. Back around 10th position. We've got a heated battle as Adam Ball and Bentley Glazer are going at it. Just behind Robert Roth in the 59. We're now 32 laps into this pit cycle. Like I mentioned, I think my best guess on the fuel window is somewhere between 35 and 40. I don't think anybody could have saved enough to try and stretch it to the end of the stage without, pretty much shutting off the engine for half a lap. So everyone gonna need to pit sometime between now and lap 100, probably between now and lap 90.
I mean, so the question is can you try to make it those 50 laps, or did you try to save enough?
Yeah, I don't really see anybody on the track that slow. Maybe there is a group of drivers back around 16th. Charles Woods, Steve Tuck, and Brock Hersey, they're all running 31s. They could be saving fuel. We'll just have to see how it plays out. As Brian Smith is now caught and past Travis Gilbert as Gilbert dives down the pit road. Michael Jennings also hit pit road that last lap.
I think someone back there is going to hit the abort button.
Dillon still out there. Now racing with Nathan Finnegan for fourth. Or for third. Kyle Diaz right behind them. And they're both going to dive down to pit road. Make sure you make that cone, boys. There you go. There's Ryan Patty still out front. Brian Smith in second. Nathan Finnegan now third. Charles Woods now on pit lane. That should set it up. Travis Gilbert is now in 17th position. Make that 16th, but he is the first car that's had a chance to pit in terms of position. Whenever Patty and Smith do come down pit road, we'll have to see where Gilbert stacks up against them in track position. They're not coming this time either. Now 37 laps on this fuel run. Robert Roth and Braxton Deweese on pit road now. And the top 10 still have not pitted. It looks like Patty may be taking a look here. He's going to make his way onto pit lane. That leaves Brian Smith in the lead. Michael Taylor and Charlie Widener also hitting pit lane now, as well as Cody Eldred and Chris Camburn. Eight to go in the stage. Smith on his 39th lap. And that looks like that's going to be as far as anyone can stretch it right now.
Yeah, he's definitely going to pull the parachute and come on down pit road.
As Adam Ball's going to follow him. Jonathan Duncan is next. Steve Tuck going to be the next car to dive down pit road. And that's going to leave Travis Gilbert, the next car out there, and he's going to come around right here and I believe take the lead away from all of those drivers, as Brian Smith is right there on the apron. You see Gilbert go around. That's going to be the lead for first. Well over 2 seconds.
And I believe Travis Gilbert has already come down pit road, got his tires.
He has, yeah. Like I said, he was one of the first cars to do it. Kyle Purcell, who's in second, was another car that came really early. He came down on lap 76, kind of split it right down the middle. Really gained him a lot of track position too. Kyle Diaz, just behind him, is the third place car. And then we've got a whole mess of drivers just behind them, fighting too wide. Brian Smith, Finnegan, Dillon, and Patty.
Three wide action here at the closing laps of stage number 2. Want to thank everybody for joining us here in the YouTube.com live chat. You hit the like, hit subscribe, and get those bells ringing. You know, Shane, we got an awesome new series starting Wednesday night. I cannot wait for that one. Check us out on Wednesday night as we bring you the All Sim series. I watched them. I watched their last season. I did a little binge watching. It's going to be a fun series. It's getting ready to kick off. And it's home. It's Sim Racing Media. But you can catch me and Shane and the gang doing our thing here almost any night of the week as we bring you all the high-flying, high octane action of some of the great series that we have going on. And Shane, I know you and Mike DeMonte get the pleasure of calling some of these guys on Saturday nights with the Elite Cup Series racing, the Elite with the ECR Cup Series. And I get the pleasure of calling some of these guys on Tuesday nights with Mike DeMonte with the Western States Racing League.
Yeah, but right now we've got a battle between Jeff Dillon, Kyle Purcell. This is for second place, stage points. And Cody Neal just behind them, saying, I'll take some of that action too, boys. We are now 99 laps in. Just a few more to wrap up stage 2. Travis Gilbert out front with a 6-second lead almost. But back here, P2 is a fight. P2 and P3. Because now Brzezowski is up around Cody Neal, working on Kyle Purcell.
I don't want to call it just yet, but barring anything egregious happening with a 6-second lead or 5.5-second lead, I mean, you pretty much could give the stage 2 to Travis Gilbert in that 22 car.
Now Gilbert crossing that start-finish line right now is going to take that stage win, as Brzezowski looks to have locked up P3 stage points there. That's Gilbert, Dillon, Brzezowski, Purcell, and Neal making up your top 5 here at the end of stage 2. And once again, as Everyone on track decides what they want to do under caution. Strategy-wise, we will step away for a quick commercial break and be right back here at the Icon Cup Series on SRM. A 100 laps in the book, 104 now after a few caution laps here at the end of stage 2 as we start the final stage of the race. Going to be about a 55 lap sprint to the end. Again, those pit windows are around 35, 38 laps or so, so everyone going to need to hit pit road at least one more time. Travis Gilbert is your leader with Jeff Dillon in second. Pace truck is off and a green flag is in the air, waving one more time. Gilbert with a great start, leading them down the front stretch in the Texas 240.
Yeah, Travis Gilbert looking to get all that real estate back that he just had. They're coming to the end of stage 2. We got a couple of guys catching a little bit of the wall there. It's a Finnegan going to bounce off the wall. And ladies and gentlemen, the lights up came on here in Texas. And oh, look out, here comes Robert Ross up to the second position, trying to run down Travis Gilbert. Travis Gilbert do what Travis Gilbert does best, and that's pull away from the field as he is almost out to a second lead. But right now, we got this battle between Jeff Dillon and Robert Ross going on right now, and insert the rest of the field.
They're thinking about going 3 wide. Brian Smith trying to find his way around Roth. Meanwhile, Nathan Finnegan trying to push Kyle Diaz through there so he can follow him. The stage, the early stages are over. This is the race to the finish. Nobody is going to lift now.
I wouldn't even lift for my grandmother.
Looks like Brian Smith going to break away from this pack. It's Travis Gilbert. Now the 0.6 of a lead over Jeff Dillon. "50 laps to go here at Texas."
There's one guy that can save and save and save. It is that man in a 22 car, in that Vetatrack 22. I mean, he's been there for the last 3 weeks and just pretty much just shot himself in the foot just about any way you can think of.
Oh, is Robert?
Whoa.
Is it Roth going around?
That is the 59 car, Robert Roth. Oh man, tough break for the 59 team. Riding back there in the 26th position, right around mid-pack. As we go to the instant replay here. And driver out of Brock, Texas. You know, it's just gets split up by the, looks like the 01 car.
Yeah, that is the 01. It looks like, I don't think Roth realized they were 3 wide. And the 01 of Kyle Purcell kind of, once you're committed to the corner, there's not much you can do about it. You're going to slide up as much as you need to.
I mean, he doesn't touch anything. And if he does, he just barely just gives a little tap-a-roo.
Yeah, let's see that again. We'll ride along with Roth.
There he goes.
You're right. I'm not even sure he hits the outside wall. Quite a save. Keep that thing clean.
I just feel like if he would have got back into it when he turned right, he probably could have saved him.
Now he got a little over half the field hitting pit lane. That includes Brian Smith and Nathan Finnegan.
I was gonna say, you did say they would have to stop at least one more time.
That's right, but it's still
Maybe a little too early.
It'd still be 47 laps, and the longest we saw anyone go, even with a couple cautions in the middle, was I believe 39. But I think everybody's got enough sets of tires. I remember right, we are working with 5 additional sets. I don't think anyone has pitted 5 times yet, so why not come in and get some fresh tires, see what you can do.
Well, on the baseball front, Shane, my beloved St. Louis Cardinals had bested the Mets in the doubleheader today.
Congratulations.
Yes.
How are they? What's that make their record on the season now?
We are 16 and 19.
All right, still in it.
Barely.
As we take a look at the pit strategy, like I mentioned, roughly the first 8 cars pitted on lap 102 at the end of the stage, and then from 9th on back, everyone pitting just now on lap 112. Gonna have a 10-lap advantage.
With 3.5 minutes left to go in round 1, my beloved St. Louis Blues are leading 3-1 over the Winnipeg Jets, trying to stave off elimination and go and advance to round number 2.
Just taking a quick look to see. It looks like everyone who pitted just this time got 4 tires, and I think everyone who did under the stage did too. So maybe Charles Woods is actually it looks like Brian Smith took 2 tires there, so we'll see how that works out for him. As Travis Gilbert brings them back once again here at lap 114, and we are green flag in the air again at Texas for Icon Cup Series. Kyle Diaz all over the bumper of Gilbert into turn 1. As they're 4 wide back behind him. Oh, some contact as the 15 goes around.
Whoa, that's a big
the
one.
whole field's in it.
Just like in the real world, we avoided the big one last week at Talladega, and it comes rearing its ugly little face here in Texas.
Ooh, boy. All right, this is going to be a tough one to unpack. It looked like the 15 was the first car to go around, but from there it was 10 or 15 cars involved in that one. Let's start with the 15. We're going to need the slow motion on this one too. 4 wide coming out of the corner. And again, I just don't know if everybody that is 4 wide knows they're 4 wide, as the 30 and the 48 get together. And then the 15, Brian Smith, Nathan Finnegan, Bentley Glazer, all get stacked up against the wall. Nowhere to go. As Patty tries to save it. A few more drivers get collected.
Widener gets through it.
Widener gets through, but Eldred, Neal, and Woods are involved. And then in the back, Steve Tuck coming through there. Getting caught up. And then, the 74. T-boning the 30. Just when Patty probably thought the wreck was over for him. I think that might be the one we need to ride along with. You can see all those drivers so far up ahead. And here comes the smoke. Really no indication of where the wreck is or where to go. And hiding behind a cloud of smoke is Ryan Patty. Really nothing the 74 could do about that one.
This just might have ended a lot of nights.
Let's ride along with Finnegan this time.
I think Nathan Finnegan's going to probably be okay.
He's still on pit lane. Getting a lot of repairs done. Almost looks like he's going to squeeze by on the outside before getting collected in it. And then in the wall again, trying to avoid Brian Smith. Yeah, I think that was the big one indeed.
They're gonna need Indeed.
And it looks like at least 12 cars are still on pit road making repairs. Trying to come out in front of this pace car, not lose too many laps. Kind of based on the time everyone came out, you got to think they have a few more optional repairs to do. Everybody coming out just in time to stay on the lead lap. And again, that includes Brian Smith, Nathan Finnegan, and a whole batch of other drivers caught up in that one.
Everybody needs Harry Hyde telling them to hit the pace car.
And that's one of those gambles you take. You don't always think about when you come in to get fresh tires, top off on fuel there at lap 112, is you're going to have to drive up through some cars to get back to the track position you were in. And when those cars are on older tires, 3 and 4 wide can get really dangerous, and we just saw that play out. So we're going to re-rack them, restack them, and do it one more time as the pace truck is off. And we're racing again as Travis Gilbert brings them back to green. Nathan Brzezowski up to second.
Don't forget, next Sunday we head to May 11th. We head to Kansas Speedway. Then Sunday, May 18th, we got the All-Star Race, and then Monday, May 26th, Shane, 240 laps at Charlotte.
It's going to be a great way to cap off Memorial Day weekend. You have any Memorial Day traditions, Alan?
Eat barbecue and watch Icon.
All right. I've got a couple buddies that come over every year. We started off as my cousin-in-law's bachelor party about 5 years ago, and we said, hey, this was a good time. Let's do it again every year since. We all get together and watch the Monaco Grand Prix, the Indy 500, and the Coke 600 back-to-back and make a weekend of it. Have a great time. I'll be excited to add the Icon Sunday or Monday night race to that weekend for myself. As we see Charlie Widener making the most of avoiding that wreck. Up 30 positions from the start of the race in P4. Really getting it done now.
Well, here we are in Brzezowski, Nathan Brzezowski, Travis Gilbert battling it out. Brzezowski is the fastest lap of the race with a 29.26.
Giving it everything he's got in that 77 car. Meanwhile, Brian Smith up to P10 after making those repairs. He's on the move, trying to get around Robert Roth.
I mean, right now there is no friends on the racetrack.
Watch here, the battle for fourth. Actually, the battle for third with Kyle Diaz leading this pack of cars, all chasing Nathan Brzezowski and Travis Gilbert. As Purcell goes way up high. He's going to hold on to it. Braxton DeWeese running P7 there beside Adam Ball.
Speaking of the YouTube.com live chat, Chris Luis cheering on Braxton Luis there, and at number 8, James on main. Ford Mustang Dark Horse, who just received a lucky dog after the proverbial dynamite just went off and all hell just broke loose. But nonetheless, here he is up there running in the top 6.
Yeah, looking underneath Michael Taylor. That'll be for 5th place.
We have about 32 laps here to go, and a lot of these guys still on pit road from the big one, if you will.
Brzezowski tried to track down Travis Gilbert. Take a look at the last
He's there.
couple laps. Looks like they're kind of trading it back and forth. Brzezowski faster a few laps, Gilbert faster for a few laps. Gilbert edges in him on that one.
I mean, look, I don't want to give the proverbial announcer's curse, but this could be Travis Gilbert's night here, where it finally breaks through.
Yeah, Gilbert currently 5th in points, the highest in the standings without a win. This could be his night. Certainly doesn't have it locked up just yet, as he's got Brzezowski on his tail, and we still have 29 laps to wrap this one up. And pit stops coming here at some point. Our leaders are 28 laps into this run. That means they are going to have to pit in the next 10 laps. But starting around 5th place on back, they are only 19 laps into their run and could potentially try to stretch it if they wanted to, but I think they're going to have to pit too. But it does open them up to take maybe just a splash of fuel and no tires to gain some track position on Gilbert and Brzezowski.
I think Travis Gilbert takes gas and no tires. I mean, you have to gamble it. You have to roll the dice.
Yeah, I think with the amount of fuel that Gilbert and Brzezowski need to take, they could go ahead and grab 2 tires without really adding much time to their stop. But certainly these other guys could go fuel only and maybe save 2 or 3 seconds. Which is pretty much the gap they have to Gilbert right now. Smith now up to P6 around Michael Taylor.
Well, I can tell you right now that Travis Gilbert is so focused on getting this one, he's not even in a Discord. Guy routed in Napoleon, Michigan, nicknamed the American Outlaw.
This battle for 7th really starting to stack up as Adam Ball squeezes ahead of Taylor. And Kyle Purcell looking to follow him through. But Bentley Glazer's there on the outside. He's going to shoot it up way high and try to get a run. And there we see Brzezowski on pit road, opting to split the laps a little bit more than run it as long as he can.
I can say right now, Travis Gilbert is definitely on the Maxwell House strategy, and that's to get every last drop out of that gas tank until there's no more.
Yeah, Gilbert, that last lap was 0.2 slower than Brian Smith and Adam Ball, who were trying to track him down. As we see Bentley Glazer, Jeff Dillon, Kyle Diaz, and Braxton Deweese all hit pit lane that lap.
Travis Gilbert has just gone into conservation mode.
Brian Smith hitting pit road along with Michael Taylor, Robert Roth. Seems like
But Travis,
everyone kind of opting to pit earlier than they have to. And
what Travis Gilbert's trying to do right now, Shane, sorry to interrupt you, is he's trying to put as many cars. Oh, here he comes. He's going to pull the proverbial parachute. Dang it.
Yeah, I mean, we saw this earlier in the race. He was the driver to undercut everyone else and make up that track position with fresh tires. Although I'm not sure anyone's taking tires right here. So we look back through the field. Brian Smith, a 9-second stop. Kyle Diaz, a 9-second stop. That sounds like 2 tires to me. As we watch Gilbert on pit lane. Looks like a 2-tire stop for him. Adam Ball is currently the leader. He's coming down pit road. That leaves Kyle Purcell out there just ahead of Cody Eldred. Brzezowski took 4 tires. Everyone else that's pitted so far took 2. We'll see if he gains any speed out of that. But right now, Kyle Purcell, only 24 laps into this fuel run for him. He can afford to stay out a good bit longer. Maybe gambling to catch that caution and trap a few of these drivers a lap down. As we take a look at that pit strategy, the top 7, 8, all the way back to 12th. 12th will be Gilbert. He's the first car that's pitted so far. Everybody else about 25 laps into this pit run. See Nathan Finnegan trying to get his lap back from Kyle Purcell. Not going to do it. I think Finnegan still has some damage from that wreck. You can see his front right fender still beat in pretty good. But that's Travis Gilbert on fresh tires saying, give me my lap back. He is the first car 1 lap down. Kyle Diaz looking underneath of him, and Brian Smith looking outside. They're 3 wide, all trying to get their lap back around Purcell. They're all going to do it right there.
Oh, hang on there. And that could quite possibly be the battle for the lead.
Absolutely. As now those 3 drivers are no longer called a lap down. I'm not sure there's much that Purcell can gain by staying out. He's not going to trap them a lap down. If he were to catch a caution, you can see how much slower he is on those older tires now. His last lap, a 30.4. Meanwhile, Kyle Diaz running a 29.5, almost a whole second a lap faster at this point. over to look at that battle for what should be the lead when all of these pit stops cycle through. Brian Smith, Travis Gilbert, and Kyle Diaz. They all stopped around the same time. Diaz, the first one to hit pit road on lap 137. All having pretty much an identical two-tire stop, setting them up to be side by side here with 14 to go as Cody Eldred hits pit road out of P2. Jacob Smith, another driver hoping for a caution, staying out here. He's up to second place, 30 laps into his fuel run.
Breaking news in the garage area, the Braxton Luis machine caught a black flag for speeding on pit road.
Oh, that's going to hurt. Smith pulls away from these two. And Bentley Glazer now joining the battle. Oh, tagging the wall pretty hard. Is the 87. Cody Neal here in front of Brock Hersey. Two drivers still staying out there in P4 and P5. Really some pretty big gaps between our leaders. Kyle Purcell with an 8-second lead. He's still out front, 33 laps into this run. Again,
I don't know. He could be on a gamble,
but he might try. He's slowed down to a 30.8. Let's see if we can ride along and hear if he's shutting that thing off. Or lifting out of the throttle early. No, he's still downshifting. I don't think you'd be downshifting if you were trying to save fuel.
Maybe he knows something we don't.
Again, your top 7 have not pitted. All of them were in last on lap 116. And then back in 8th place is Brian Smith, Travis Gilbert, Kyle Diaz, and Bentley Glazer. They are the drivers who have stopped. Cruising here all together is Gilbert, putting the bumper to Smith, ever so slightly, going to get inside. Ooh, well, a little more contact. They're not done yet. Diaz trying to make the most of this as they split Brad Delph. Now going around the 14. You got to imagine the crew chiefs and spotters for these drivers have told them the situation. We don't think Kyle Purcell can make it, or any of the other 6 drivers up there in front of this group.
Yeah, you can just see the. I was gonna say you can just see the intervals just get smaller and smaller. There it is.
They are still 19 seconds behind our leader, but as we said, we're pretty sure that Kyle Purcell, Charles Van Schuyck, Cody Neal, Brock Hersey all need to come down pit road as Jacob Smith just pitted out of the 2nd position. Gilbert starting to run away from these two as they've been stuck side by side for multiple laps.
Gilbert just fired up the proverbial afterburners. Just put it in hyperdrive.
There's no reason to be saving anything at this point.
No, and Travis Gilbert knows that the sands of the hourglass are starting to run out.
Kyle
Purcell
Purcell.
pulls up his parachute.
Yeah, there he goes down to pit road. That leaves Van Schaik in the lead. 39 laps into this run. That's the longest we've seen anybody drive. With Travis Gilbert now just 5 seconds behind him. Even if he could make it by slowing down, Gilbert is going to be closing in on him. As there's 4 to go at the line. I think the 23 is going to take a swing at it.
He has to.
Certainly seems calm and fuel efficient, pardon me, here in the cockpit. You can hear him right there. The clutch is in, the ignition is off, and he is saving as much fuel as he can.
I've seen this before.
3 laps to go, 4 seconds ahead of Travis Gilbert. 3 to go.
No way he's gonna win this up fuel mileage.
This is his 41 laps into this run. Can he pull out the miracle?
He's gonna try. He's ready to bet. He's got a lie in it now.
Two laps to go.
I don't know. White flag. He's got to make it around one more time.
Here he goes, Charles Van Schaik. 2.7 seconds ahead of Gilbert. As he comes down the backstretch.
I cannot believe this is about to pull this off.
The 23 is going to go 44 laps on fuel.
No way.
And win the Texas 240.
You got to be kidding me.
What a drive. Back behind him is Travis Gilbert, locks up second. Kyle Diaz in third.
No
Wow.
way. No way.
I mean, it's got to be heartbreak for Gilbert, Diaz, Glazer, and Smith. They were doing, it seemed like they were doing everything right. But Charles gets it done. Not sure if he has enough left for a burnout.
That is almost like taking your money, putting it all on the first, second, or third 12, and the 0 comes up. Let's find out if he's sputtering.
He might have a
Oh,
little bit. He's going to get it done. Putting on a master class in fuel savings.
No way.
How about that? Fantastic. Well, it was a short burnout, but he got it done.
I just need you to do me one favor. I need you to just go ahead and, peel my jaw up off the floor as we just witnessed this go down.
Like we said, we didn't think it could be done. And maybe he knew something we didn't, and he sure did. It was how to save fuel to go 44 laps to the finish and save enough for a victory lap and a burnout. We wait for our podium drivers to come up here in the booth. Alan, it looks like we have third place. Kyle Diaz joining us now.
Kyle and Shane and Alan up here in the interviewers. How's it going?
Pretty good, guys. How are you doing tonight?
Hey, look, man. one, good run here tonight. I feel like you needed this one for your team and your sponsors, but take us to that race and how much more you needed out of the car to possibly get you to finish 2 spots better.
Yeah, overall a good night tonight. I worked really hard during the run and just did the best that I could. I don't know if I had anything for Charles up front. He just had a really good strategy. It was a good fuel mileage win right there. And what else can I say about it? I took 2 tires in the end right there to try to get myself that track position. And I'm just happy to finally get a decent finish here tonight in the Icon series.
Yeah, definitely. And here we are into Texas. Next week we go to Kansas. What? I mean, look, you came off a grueling one last night here at Bristol with ECR. Then you come over here, finish, run third. But here you are, just out here making it happen here in that Veta track number 26 for Dark Horse Mustang.
Yeah.
What's your feelings about Kansas and what?
Kansas, it's a pretty good track for me. I feel like the mile and a half, they really suit my driving style. And it just feels really good to get back on the track here, and especially after yesterday with that terrible showing at Bristol. But
Exactly.
overall, I'm looking forward to the next couple of weeks and keeping it up front.
Well, look, man, before we get you out of here, is there anybody you'd like to thank to help get you here tonight?
Yeah, I'd like to thank my team, Racing for Freedom and Gone Wrong Racing. Of course, all those guys over there, they helped me improve my driving. So always shout out to them. And shout out to my parents, of course, especially my dad. He always watches my races, and I appreciate it. So shout out to him. I hope he's watching right now. So, and shout out to you guys, of course, for putting on the show. So just like I said, I'm really glad to get a good run here tonight at Texas. It's always been one of my better tracks. So hopefully I keep the momentum up going forward.
Absolutely. Well, have a good night, and congratulations on that 3rd place finish.
Yeah, thank you guys. Have a good one.
Yep.
All right, next up, let's talk to P2 driver Travis Gilbert. Travis, tell us about your night.
Oh, I swear I don't know how many times I got to put myself in position to win these races in this Icon League to lose them. I'm just I don't know what to say right now. I'm really at a loss for words. I really don't know what to say. I mean, what do you guys think? How about you guys talk to me about what you thought about the race, and maybe I can elaborate.
Yeah, well, we saw, it ended up being a fuel mileage race at the end. That's kind of the obvious twist, but we saw you be the driver that came down pit road earlier than everyone else and help you get some track position to win stage 1. So the rest of the night, every time you're deciding, hey, when do I want to come on these green flag runs and how many tires do I want to take? How are you making those decisions?
Stage 1, I was not gonna take tires because it's a 160 lap race. If you take tires there, at this when we had that caution around, which split up the stage with like 25, 27 laps in or whatever, and then some people chose to take tires, but as you can tell, that didn't really work out for them in the end game. So some people want stage points, others are setting themselves up to put themselves in a position to win the race. Come to find out, you can be the fastest car, lead the most laps, and have one of the back markers you pit for fuel beat you by 2 seconds at the end of the race. So stage 2, I realized I had an opportunity. It's hard to pass at Texas. It's wide open through 3 and 4. 1 and 2, not too many lines can you run. So pretty much bottom momentum based racetrack, hard to pass. So 2 tires has always been treating me well. I like a little looser of a car. I don't like a tight race car. So the fact that the left sides were worn a little more than my right sides allows me to drive it off the left rear, which is kind of a short track trick that I learned a long time ago from people like Tim Holmes and stuff like that, Earl Miles and stuff. So growing up at the short tracks, the good era of short track racing, because I got lucky. So just had a really fast race car. That caution came out. Okay, I mean, Rob Roth helped me, Kyle Diaz helped me. We were out to a good lead. I thought everything was going good. I caught Kyle Purcell there, and it is what it is. I'm just gonna keep my mouth shut for the most part. And I got caught up between my teammate Kyle and Brian Smith. So all the time that I lost messing around with them because of the Kyle Purcell car, I could have probably ran down the leader who was saving fuel. Might have made it a interesting finish, but that's how the race went, man. It was hard fought, sweat my butt off because you can't give an inch because you break your momentum and you can lose 3, 4, 5 spots.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I could feel the frustration there for you, but it was a blast to watch you drive up through the field. That moment where you guys all caught Purcell at the same time might have been the most exciting, lap cars getting their lap back I've ever seen. But yeah, I certainly can feel the frustration there. But another great points day for you. We were kind of calling you out with about 20 laps to go, saying, hey, Gilbert's that guy he's the highest in the standings that hasn't been able to get a win. Maybe this will be the time. It wasn't, but another great points day for you. Gonna keep your momentum going, and maybe you can do it again next week at Kansas.
Oh, absolutely. I finished second to Kansas there. A lap car, I think the same, or like a red lap car, cost me that opportunity. Brian asked him where he wanted to go, and he told him low, and it cost me. I think we were like 1/10 away from a victory there at Kansas last year. So, yeah, I mean, the great finishes. This is a tough league. Listen, this is probably one of the toughest leagues. I have another league that I race on Wednesday. This league probably makes me a way better race car driver on my Wednesday league because these guys are fast. They don't want to give an inch. They don't like me and I don't like them because that's what fast people are all about. You know, you don't want to lose to anybody. Ask Michael Jordan, when the game was on the line, he wanted the ball. You couldn't have it. It was his. That's why he's the GOAT. So I don't back down from these guys. They're absolutely fast. Alan has seen me in different leagues, knows how dominant I can be. I think tonight showed how dominant I can be once you let me out front. I think that's why these guys race their ass off to keep me from getting around them. Because once you let me out front, that 22 it's lights out, man. Good luck catching it on the long run.
Look, before we go let you go, Travis, I was telling Shane, I said, this poor guy has done everything that you just about can to shoot yourself in the foot to get one of these race wins. But man, I mean, just if you had about 10 more laps.
I didn't need 10 laps. I needed 5, if that. He was running out of gas, so maybe just 1. So yeah, Alan, it's racing, man. It's never over until the fat lady sings, as they say. So there goes that mantra. And it's tonight is the perfect example. Chuck made the perfect strategy. I ran my ass off. I mean, I did not let up one bit. So he beat us fair and square and ran out of gas and gets to celebrate in Icon Victory Lane here at Texas Motor Speedway. So congrats to him.
Yes, sir.
All right. Well,
you got anybody you want to thank before we let you get back to your Sunday night?
Appreciate it, Shane. Yeah, man. I have this whole Vet the Track organization crew behind me. We do Racing for Freedom, and we got these guys over here. We're trying to end veteran suicide, save 22, all this stuff, battling PTSD one lap at a time. The John Cena never give up mantra, it's what it is. We want to keep fighting. So go visit www.vetthetrack.org. Jim Whittam and his people, go look at the testimonials of the veterans that it's done really good things for them. I got to experience it, and I really hope that everybody can go buy some cool merchandise. You're supporting the vet. You never know what veteran you're going to save, or a family member, because the family members go through this with us too. So we're not alone in this fight with PTSD. So really appreciate Vet the Track, Kyle Diaz, Ray Lane, Rob Roth, Chris Roth, Tay McDonald, Devin Hudgens, Brandon Richardson, John Fike. These are all guys that are a part of my Racing for Freedom team that are just not in this league. So we put a lot of time in together. I appreciate the brotherhood. My friends Terry and Tweet had a great weekend. We went to Butler Motor Speedway. It was Caleb's birthday. He got to win $20. So say hi to them. My mom. We're gonna win one of these. So we're gonna win, and it's gonna be in dominating fashion. So
absolutely, you put yourself in position every week It's only a matter of time. Congratulations again on P2, and we'll see you again next week.
Appreciate it. Thank you, Shane and Alan.
Yeah.
All right, let's get our race winner, Chuck, up here for you. Alan, Chuck, you got Shane and Alan in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, how you guys doing?
Hey, look, man, you're the one that's doing fuel mileage, and we just watched you put on a masterclass on saving fuel.
Yeah. I listened to the previous guy's interview. The back marker only did this strategy because he got loose and doored me into the wall, and I had wheel damage. So I was in the back. I didn't take tires till stage 2. So I was going to come in. I was all excited, but someone wants to mouth off. I got doored. I had 2.5 minutes of wheel damage. Didn't take tires. Had to get that all fixed. And then that last caution I saw, it was like 43 laps. I'm really good at saving fuel. And I was at the back of the pack. Very hard to pass here. So I just committed to it from the last green flag. Just to commit to it. And, I was going to finish top 5. In this back marker, any race he's finished top 10. So, yeah. So I came in, I was going to come in with a little better attitude, but I heard the last guy and his little cockiness. So I think I have my target.
Defense, shots fired. Well, hey, look, next week we go to Kansas Speedway. I feel like that's another good 1.5-mile cookie cutter track. What's it going to take for you to put SpongeBob and Patrick Star back in Victor Lane next week at Kansas?
Just taking care. I mean, that's what I was doing tonight. I was taking care of my stuff. I got 4th, qualified 4th. Fell back a little bit. People were, flying in the 3 and 4 because you could do that early. I wasn't. And before that first caution, I think I got up to 5th or 6th. I dropped to 12th, went back up to 5th or 6th, and me and who's the 78, Brian Smith, me and him were moving right on through on up. Then then we know how it all goes when the cautions start. So I was just lucky not to have severe damage like I've had the last 2 weeks. But yeah, just taking care of your stuff. I mean, obviously Kansas, the top's fast, but the top's going to burn you, burn your stuff a lot quicker. It's just about being patient and controlling the throttle. I think Nathan said it best in Discord with Texas. It's all about throttle control. And, at Texas, it's going to be the same way at Kansas. Going to have to keep the car under you, keep it in one piece, and go from there.
Well, look, I'm not going to lie. Whenever we saw, the lights clicking down and everybody starting to peel off pit road, and we're just, literally Shane just had to pick my gel up off the floor because I've only seen a couple of guys do what you did and turn that car off, and it looked like, I was like, there's no way it's gonna make it. At what point do you say, okay, we're going with the Maxwell House team, we're getting everything out of it to the last drop, and then maybe then a little bit more?
Yes, I kept watching the relative. Once I wasn't sure what Kyle was doing because Kyle started back with me. A lot of times when I'm in these situations, I save too much. So I had about 1.5 laps left. I was pacing 1.5 laps to the good. So once I saw him pit, I went all, I started backing off a little bit. Once the front marker got under 4 seconds, then I started, running a little bit harder. Ended up with about 1 lap left in the tank. So I don't shut the car off. It's just straight clutching, staying in 5th. These cars are very sensitive with the shifting. If you shift, doesn't matter if you clutch. If you shift, you're just eating too much fuel because the RPMs get up too high. So yeah, I just rolled the bottom everywhere I went. I was really just racing out of my rear view because I just wanted to make sure I kept the bottom and kept out of people's way so no one, wasn't, no one didn't run me over because I was, clutching going into 3 and 4. And especially after the guys started doing pits, I saw some 2 stops, some just flash and goes, but they were going to be faster. So I just wanted to keep the bottom and stay out of everyone's way. So probably the whole thing, once the pits started, I was driving out my back window. So,
all right. Well, before we get out of here, Charles, who do you like to think, and who helped you get it done on this number 23 car with SpongeBob and Patrick?
Yeah, guys over at Dragonfly Racing, I joined with them 3 weeks ago, and this is my third race. First one I finished with them. We were joking about it in the chat. Is the second I joined, first two races I ran, I guess solo. I finished like ninth and seventh, or ninth and eighth, or something like that. I joined with them and I get wrecked out. None of my doing, just wrong place, wrong time. So tonight, those guys over there, Rob and Steven and Patrick, Jonathan, really good dudes helping out. To you guys, for the broadcast. Nate, forget me, in the league. I met him through, he reached out. I do custom diecast, so I did his custom diecast through my company, which is on the car with Patrick and SpongeBob. And then my teammates over at Goat Racing in my other leagues. I won't go. I got I sponsor 8 drivers. So, and which driver in here I sponsor. So, yeah, other than that, it's everything, admins, drivers, real clean race. And I love Sunday nights after the race to get on and race. You get the juices flowing. And yeah, that's it. And anyone who's watching and anyone wants to go to my website, goatracingdiecast.com, use goatracing23 promo code, 10% off pre-orders, new pre-owned collection. I also have the low-C RC cars up there for pre-order. Use low-C goat promo code for 5% off. They should be in probably within the month.
All right. Well, Charles, once again, congratulations on winning tonight's race, and we'll see you next week at Kansas.
All right, sounds good. Thanks, guys.
Well, Shane, it sounds like shots fired.
Yeah, I mean, heard a lot of emotion there in all of those drivers. Gilbert feeling like, nobody likes him. He doesn't like them. That kind of gets you fired up to be competitive. And then, yeah, with Chuck there at the end kind of taking that back marker comment to heart. Yeah, he started 4th and finished 1st. So I think he proved himself there tonight if he hadn't already. But we are going to wrap it up here and look at our finishing order before we head out. Again, it was Chuck Van Schaik in first, Travis Gilbert second, Kyle Diaz rounding out your podium, then Bentley Glazer and Brian Smith rounding out the top 5, Adam Ball, Michael Taylor, Jonathan Duncan, Cody Neal, and Nathan Brzezowski rounding out your top 10. Brock Hersey was 11th, Cody Eldred 12th, Charlie Widener 13th, Jeff Dillon 14th, Charles Woods 15th, Kyle Purcell 16th, Robert Roth in 17th, and Michael Jennings in 18th. Then Ethan Van Collie in 19th, Jacob Smith 20th, Anthony Teseo 21st, Nathan Finnegan 22nd after getting caught up in that wreck. We saw him up front, but closing out in 22nd. Jacob Gladulich 23rd, Brad Delft 24th, Braxton DeWeese 25th, another driver caught up in that big one. John McNeil 26th, Robert Bloon 27th, Jake Champion 28th. Hanover Fist in 29th, Chris Camber in 30th, Steve Tuck 31st, Ryan Patty 32nd. Another driver that was up front for a good part of this race, caught up in the accidents. Sean Purcell in 33rd, Johnny Hamby 34th, Patrick Colby 35th, and Kyle Gilbert 36th. That's going to wrap it up for us here at Sim Racing Media for the Texas 240 with the Icon Cup Series. Any closing thoughts, Alan?
Man, I tell you what a great race. I am still just in disbelief and in shock that Charles Van Schaik was able to save that much fuel. I mean, 2 more laps and it'd been all over. But nonetheless, we're going to head to Kansas. It's going to be a wonderful track. I cannot wait to get there. The Sunflower State is calling our name, Jane, and I cannot wait.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. We'll see everyone out there watching next Sunday once more for the Icon Cup Series here on SRM.